Blake, thanks so much for taking the time to share your experience and wisdom with us.
Patrick, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So let's start out. I think your story, as to how you got to be doing what you're doing is something that's important to understand. So give us your background and story.
Sure. So funny enough, my background story of how I got into selling online versus how I got into digital marketing are kind of two different worlds. So I was back in college, actually. This is how my whole journey began. And I was back in college and I was cramming for an exam. That's what we do as students, right? We're cramming for all these tests. And I remember I'm sitting there cramming, and I remember my business partner and I'm like, there's got to be a better way to learn information, right? Because we're studying from these crazy, if you've ever had those study guides, it's just word vomit text, and we're trying to absorb all this information. And it was the most miserable experience in the world. And we had this idea where what if we turn these study guides into visual guides and use mnemonic devices and animations and video and all this stuff and really change that experience. So we got a subscription to Prezi, and Prezi's just like PowerPoint, right? And we transformed all of these actual study guides into Visi guides, and we started selling them back to the students. We put a website on WordPress. We built this product once, and then we went back to, I'm from the University of Central Florida, that's where I graduated. We went back to one of the classrooms there, and we're okay, there's 3,000 students here, and they all need this product. What do we do? So I don't know why, but I had this crazy idea to buy a gorilla suit. So I bought this gorilla suit, I put it on, my business partner grabbed a boom box, and we just bombarded into one of these classes. The professor's like, what are y'all doing? And we just got in front, and I had these signs, and I'm like, do you guys want an A on your next exam? I have actual footage of this. And we're sitting there, and the kids are like, what the heck is going on? And we're just doing this stunt. And we do this stunt, and we had these products done, and we left out of the classroom, and we go to the bar, because we're okay, is this gonna work? We just built this product, okay? We just did our first marketing stunt, and now we're nervous. We had this adrenaline rushing. And we go to the bar, and we're sitting there, and I remember my phone went off, and we got our first sale for $5 from one of these new products we sold, and we went nuts, we went crazy. And that's really where my journey began. It was that entire night we had sale after sale after sale, and the entire semester we did $5,000 as college students. Let me remind you, we're college, right? We're broke. We had no money. But what that experience did is it opened me up into the first time ever into the world of making money using the internet, and more importantly, making money with digital products where you only have to build it once and you can sell it as a perpetuity. And that's kind of how my journey began, was back in college.
Wow. So what were you studying in college? I'd be curious to know that before we know the rest.
Yeah, so I was just doing general business. I think maybe people will agree or disagree with me on this one, but college, I didn't learn much. I didn't learn an actual skill set, right? All the stuff I learned to this day was just by trial and error, by experience. And I was just doing general business administration. I didn't really know anything about marketing or the ability to make money online. We just had this crazy idea to, hey, let's transform a product that exists into something that's a better experience. And let's find this crazy way of getting people's attention. And that's kind of how that journey started.
Did you finish college?
Yeah, graduated 4-year degree, didn't use it, but at the same time, was able to transition into something, I had more passion for.
So what happened? So you got out of school, you had this experience saying, wow, we actually made really good money doing what we did here. So what was your next step?
So get out of school, right? And weird enough, I kind of took away from the whole digital product stuff. Made great money in college doing it. Graduated college, started working for a company. I was working for a couple companies. One specifically was a fitness company. And this is when I was introduced to Mr. Russell Brunson and the world of funnels. And I was working for this fitness company, and we were trying to find ways to sell our products online. And I remember one day I was sitting there and I was like, why is this not selling? And it reminded me of the digital product days. What do we need to do? We need to find a way to effectively sell this stuff using the internet. And I was sitting there, and I remember I was just frustrated because we couldn't sell this amazing product we just built inside of this company. I go home one night, I go through Facebook, and sure enough, this crazy guy named Russell Brunson, who I didn't know at the time, was there. And I click one of his ads, and he's like, you need a funnel. And ever since then, I fell in love. And what I realized is, we took that product, we started using funnels to sell it. And eventually what happened is I left that company the day after we made sales, because I connected the two worlds. I was like, I know digital products, but now I have an effective way to sell it. And when I married those two worlds together, things kind of took off for me in a positive way.
That's really interesting how you have inflection points, because almost every story for people that I've been talking to for this whole series, there's that pivotal moment, like where they found something or met somebody that started them on a new path. And in discovering funnels or ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson, obviously that was your inflection point, at least one of them that got you onto a new path. So you were in fitness at the time. So how did you take this concept? Now saying, I'm working in the fitness business, I'm learning about online funnels and marketing. What did you put together and what emerged?
So I was working in this fitness business, and we were working on what we did is we taught people how to become certified personal trainers. We had one of our partners out in Hollywood who trains like Hugh Jackman and Tom Cruise and all these amazing celebrities. And long story short, when I finally was introduced to funnels, to sell funnels online, and realized the power of like actually having a sales process using the internet and using sales funnels, it kind of opened up my eyes and my perspective to what was possible when you take one of these powerful machines and you inject skill sets into it, whether it's a product or whether it's a service. So crazy enough, we got our first sale, and just being kind of the maniacal, crazy person I am, I quit the next day and set out on this world of discovering how can funnels really help me. And funny enough, I didn't go directly back to digital products. I actually started selling a service. I took the next year of my life and I dedicated every waking moment to understanding how funnels worked, to understand the science of marketing, how to make noise, how to basically get people's attention and say, I have something amazing I want to offer you, and I want you to check it out, right? And I go through this for about a year, and I was getting broke. I had no money. I was it was my rough bottom moment. And I realized, okay, I know funnels. I think I have a decent understanding of digital marketing. What's the easiest path to victory right now? And my idea was, let me just sell a skill set. Let me help others do what I just learned for their businesses. And I started on that journey of opening up a digital agency where I basically just helped other people launch their products, get their message out to the world, launch their services by using sales funnels in the mix of things. Because for the longest time, right, even now, a lot of people are using websites and they don't have like an effective way to sell. And it's like, let's just take this information that I know and I'll help you sell your stuff. And that was the path I went on initially, because I knew it was the quickest path to making money right away. Instead of like investing time into creating a product, I was like, let me sell what I know and I'll help other people and provide value in doing so.
So that, I guess, started kind of your train rolling down the track. What do you do? What are most of your activities now? Like, what is the majority of your time spent doing or creating or putting out there in the world?
Yeah, so we started on the track of the digital agency, and realized like it wasn't right for me, right? Like I enjoyed helping people make money, but I realized like, what if I marry the world back of digital products and funnels and do it for ourselves and try and start businesses that way? So about a year ago, we kind of went that direction, and I remembered that Gorilla Suit story. And like I said, I'm like, okay, if we can sell digital products, right? Something that literally you build it once and it makes money as long as it's up and running, as long as you're kind of behind it still. What a powerful way to use funnels to get it out to the marketplace, and to have a nice system, a nice process in place to bring the customer along on this journey. So now what I do every single day is I find ways to build digital products, info products, digital. And the difference between info and digital, right? Like info, if you're selling a course, digital, if I'm selling like a website template, right? But all in all, they fall in the same vein. And my goal every day is just to wake up and find ways to sell digital products that help business owners generate leads, generate sales, have a stronger presence using the internet. And I use funnels to effectively do that.
So you've mentioned a couple of times your partner. So who is your partner and what are your activities versus his or her activities?
Yeah, so my partner's name is Ace. He works with me inside of the office here. We have a great partnership. It's kind of split up. Like, I wouldn't call it your traditional, like, this is your role, this is mine, although we do fall into categories. He handles a lot of the creative, a lot of the things that we do in terms of the creative stuff. He's been executing a lot on, like, we're launching ads now. We have a bunch of different stuff we're doing. And then I'll probably handle more of the operation side, the business side right now. But all in all, we don't have boundaries per se. We cross over into different roles and just to help each other out. So I wouldn't, it's not this like completely structured you do this, I do this. We like to brainstorm, and best idea always wins. Like, we take our egos out of it, and we at the end of the day, we understand that the business it's about the business, and we're just people working for our own business. So that's kind of how we operate.
Talk to me if you can. Do you guys work with YouTube, and do you learn or do you work with generating revenue out of YouTube as one of the platforms that you might work in?
Yeah, interesting enough, we are just now starting YouTube. YouTube is an effective means, in my opinion, very amazing for video content, obviously. Different type of market for people that are learning more for like how-tos, things like that. We are just now experiencing with YouTube. We'll be doing the same thing with like TikTok and these emerging platforms coming up. But for right now, our main focus has been in the Facebook realm, because that's kind of where our business resides.
Okay. And so what is some of the difference? Like, because, if I might be a consumer or, that would say, oh, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I certainly, go into YouTube and learn some things or even post some videos there. So I see the sphere of this, Snapchat, what have you. But from the side, from your view, when looking through your end of the telescope, if you will, you see these varying platforms. How do they relate to each other potentially, and how are they different from each other? Is there one platform that's better for a certain thing and another is better for another thing? How do you see those?
So yeah, at the end of the day, you have to respect the context of the platform. Not all platforms are created equal, right? Like, Facebook operates different than LinkedIn, which operates different than YouTube and TikTok, right? There's all these different platforms. I think the best piece of advice I give people going into it is understand the context of the platform that you're operating with, right? Like, Facebook is not designed for you to have dramatic, like, long posts, right? Or even Twitter. Like, you have to understand how these different platforms work. Like YouTube, people on YouTube are more like how-to. They're looking for like tutorial-based content. They're looking to learn new things. Facebook is more of like, it can be more like talk show related. Like, you have Facebook Lives in your groups. You build communities on Facebook. It's very effective for that. TikTok, I think everyone's trying to fully understand how the platform is going to evolve because it's so new. But ultimately, from what I've experienced from it, is like very short clips of entertaining content, whether it's to escape reality for a little bit or just to get a good dopamine rush. It's just very entertaining based content. Podcasts are different, more of an educate people who want to learn as well there. LinkedIn, more B2B, right? So you have to understand how the different platforms work. And when you understand how the different platforms work, you can start creating content to fit those different platforms. And I think a lot of people like rush into, okay, how can I like take this thing and scale it from one platform to the like just blanket approach? And although you're going to get a lot of content out, you're not necessarily going to fit the mold of how to really position it. They all are connected, right, in a way, because it's social media, but technically they all have a different purpose and a different point of how they're positioned.
Thanks so much for being here and watching that video. And can I ask you to please subscribe to our channel so you can find out when we're posting new content. You'll be alerted right away when we do. To share this with people you think might benefit from the information, and certainly it helps us if you like the video. So if you like what you just saw, go ahead and hit that like button. And again, thank you so much for being here with me right now.